Right now, more than 1 billion people on this planet are living with obesity. Not because they lack willpower, not because they are lazy, but because forces they may not even be aware of, biological, chemical, hormonal, and environmental, are quietly systematically telling their bodies to store fat. The World Health Organization now classifies obesity as a chronic, relapsing disease. And the science behind it is far more complex and far more alarming than most people realize. Today we break it down. The 10 things that are causing fat to build up in the human body. The 10 things that are causing fat to build up in the human body. The 10 things that are causing fat to build up in the human body. Backed by the latest research, the most credible science, and data that will change the way you look at your own health. Topic introduction. For decades, the conversation around body fat was reduced to a simple equation: eat less, move more. But that narrative is collapsing under the weight of modern science. Growing evidence now indicates that obesity pathogenesis involves processes far more complex than the passive accumulation of excess calories. Oxford academic. Researchers at the world's leading institutions now understand that fat accumulation is a multifactorial crisis, one that touches genetics, sleep, stress, gut bacteria, hormones, and even the medications we take. Here are the 10 key drivers. Number 1. Caloric surplus and ultra-processed foods. The foundation remains true. When you consume more energy than your body burns, the excess is stored as fat. But the modern food environment has engineered this imbalance at scale. Excessive dietary intake of calorie-dense, nutrient-poor foods leads to inefficient metabolism of carbohydrates and fats, resulting in the ectopic accumulation of triglycerides and free fatty acids in non-adipose depots, contributing to chronic cellular dysfunction. Frontier sin. Ultra-processed foods, engineered to override your body's natural fullness signals, are at the center of this crisis. Number 2. Insulin resistance. When the body repeatedly floods with sugar, the hormone insulin, which signals cells to absorb glucose, begins to lose its effectiveness. Insulin, as an anabolic hormone, endorses glucose storage as glycogen in the liver and fat storage in adipose tissue. As resistance grows, more insulin is released and more fat is stored. This cycle is one of the most powerful engines of fat accumulation known to science. Number 3. Physical inactivity. Long-term exercise modifies fat tissue in ways that allow the body to store fat more healthfully, under the skin rather than around organs or inside them. The reverse is equally true. A sedentary lifestyle doesn't just mean fewer calories burned, it fundamentally alters where and how fat is deposited, pushing it toward the most dangerous visceral zones around the heart, liver, and pancreas. Number 4. Genetics and biological predisposition. Some bodies are biologically wired to store fat more efficiently than others. Humans have an evolutionary physiology that is predisposed to conserve body fat as a factor of survival. And this evolutionary physiology, in today's climate of easy access to virtually unlimited calories, has created a large segment of humanity that appears biologically predisposed to excessive weight gain. Oxford academic. Genetic factors influence appetite regulation, fat distribution, and metabolic rate in ways that can be inherited across generations. Number 5. Chronic stress and cortisol. Stress is not just a mental burden, it is a biochemical one. When you're under persistent stress, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that directly promotes fat storage, particularly around the abdominal region. Chronic stress and adverse social conditions encourage unhealthy eating behaviors, with food frequently used as a coping mechanism for stress or emotional distress, leading to emotional eating of calorie-dense comfort foods rather than eating driven by hunger. The result is a double hit: hormonal fat storage combined with excess caloric intake. Number 6. Sleep deprivation. Science is now unequivocal on this point. Poor sleep disrupts the hormones that regulate hunger, specifically ghrelin, which increases appetite, and leptin, which signals fullness. When you are chronically underslept, your brain receives constant hunger signals and diminished signals of satiety. You eat more, you crave more sugar and fat, and your body becomes more efficient at storing what you consume. Sleep deprivation is one of the most underestimated causes of fat accumulation in modern populations. Number 7. Hormonal imbalances, including thyroid dysfunction. Hormones govern metabolism, and when they are out of balance, fat accumulates rapidly. Fat accumulation has been associated with lower free T4 and higher TSH levels among overweight and obese individuals, resulting in a positive correlation between TSH and progressive increase in body weight over time. Insulin resistance can impair the conversion of inactive T4 to active T3, leading to decreased cellular T3 availability, which reduces metabolic rate and leads to further weight gain. Conditions like hypothyroidism, polycystic ovary syndrome, and Cushing's disease are direct contributors. Number 8. Gut microbiome disruption. One of the most groundbreaking areas of obesity science involves the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system. Disturbance in the microbial community encourages fat deposition and low-grade chronic inflammation, which may result in further metabolic damage. So chubby. Diets high in sugar and processed food, overuse of antibiotics, and lack of dietary fiber all damage the gut microbiome, shifting it toward a composition that promotes fat storage and systemic inflammation. Diets high in sugar and processed food, overuse of antibiotics, and lack of dietary fiber all damage the gut microbiome, shifting it toward a composition that promotes fat storage and systemic inflammation. Number 9. Certain medications. This is a cause many people never consider. A range of widely prescribed medications, including antidepressants, antipsychotics, corticosteroids, beta blockers, and certain diabetes drugs, are known to cause significant weight gain and promote fat accumulation as a direct side effect. For millions of patients managing other health conditions, this creates a frustrating paradox. The treatment for one problem accelerates another. Number 10. The socioeconomic and environmental trap. Fat accumulation is not only a personal health issue, it is a systemic one. Constrained resources limit access to healthy foods, such as fresh produce and safe spaces for exercise, while cheap, ultra-processed foods and sugary drinks become staples in low-income households. Globalization and industrialized food systems have created increasingly obesogenic environments, contributing to what is now a global public health crisis. With more than 1 billion people living with obesity, with prevalence rising in nearly every country, where you are born, how much you earn, and what your neighborhood looks like are powerful determinants of whether fat builds in your body. Why this matters? Worldwide, at least 2.8 million people die annually as a result of overweight or obesity. The clinical significance of obesity extends far beyond its impact on body weight. It serves as a key pathophysiologic driver of metabolic, cardiovascular, pulmonary, musculoskeletal, and reproductive complications. This is not a vanity issue, this is a survival issue, and it cannot be solved by willpower alone. This is not a vanity issue, this is a survival issue, and it cannot be solved by willpower alone. I'm Ryan Cooper. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and for more in-depth investigative reports on global health and policy, make sure to subscribe. Until next time.